Hey guys, welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden, and in this episode we're just going to do an educational video. I'm going to talk to you guys about how you can boost your immune system. Now, I have a doctorate in chiropractic and a biomedical sciences degree, so I get asked this all the time in my office. So what I'd like to talk to you guys about is some things that you can do that are pretty easy, because Omicron is going to wash over the entirety of the United States in the next few months or so. It's highly infectious, but data seems to indicate, and more data keeps rolling in, that confirms that it's a much milder form of COVID. And people that generally don't have comorbidities and keep a healthy body weight and who eat healthy get very mild symptoms or don't even notice that they have it. It's so mild. So that's good news. It's not going well in the United States because our hospital system is crap. Biden has not given us Medicare for all, nor injected any money into the hospital system. So you can expect there's going to be a ton of infections. There's going to be a lot of people that have comorbidities are going to have a rough time over the next couple of months, and we could mitigate that easily via executive order if we wanted to. We're not doing that, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to get terribly political. It's going to be bad for the next couple of weeks here. Omicron is going to infect everybody. I have it right now, and you can probably hear it in my voice. It hasn't been that bad. I'm very tired and I have a scratchy throat. My wife had a headache for a day and a fever that lasted 2 days, and my daughter had a fever for like 2 or 3 days and no other symptoms. So we're getting over it right now, but we generally tend to follow a couple of the rules that I'm about to lay out for you. We're going to talk about behavioral things that you can do, and then diet and supplement things that you can do, okay? So the best thing that you can do is maintain a low stress level, and this involves getting as much sleep as you can, which just in general boosts your immune system. But when you're all stressed out and you're not getting a lot of sleep, there's a lot of the stress hormone, cortisol, rushing through your system, and that causes undue inflammation throughout your body. So the lower cortisol you have in your blood, the less likely you are to get overly inflamed. And as we know, particularly COVID, but many viruses and bacteria and whatever, they cause a lot of undue inflammation, particularly viruses, and COVID causes inflammation everywhere. You've heard vasculitis. Basically, any place that has ACE2 receptors in your body is prone to undue inflammation from COVID infection. So the lower cortisol you have in your blood, less likely you are to have like over the top or out of control inflammation. Another thing that helps keep cortisol low is exercise. That also helps with sleep. That also helps just in general boost your immune system, because as you exercise, you burn fat, you have a lower BMI, and as we've seen, people that have lower body mass indexes are doing much better against COVID in general. So if you can maintain a healthy body weight, keep your cortisol levels down, however that comes about, exercise is a great way, making sure you get a lot of sleep is a great way, but also meditation, any way that you can to try to keep your stress levels low. Now, I know it's tough. We live in America in 2022. Everywhere you look, there's something stressful to look at. So this is tough for me too. But, as best you can, try to back off of social media things that stress you out. If there's a specific thing that you notice is a trigger for you, try to stay away from it. This can be, if I were the type that were watching mainstream media every night, that is something that would stress me out like crazy. Quit that. Plus, it's just not good to be absorbing that information anyways. Exercise, drink lots of water, and try to rest. Okay, I know it's tough, but let's move on to diet. This goes without saying, fruits and vegetables are the most important. Now, that's mostly because if you eat a whole bunch of synthetic sugars, meaning you're eating a lot of candy, drinking a lot of soda, junk food, even drinking juice that doesn't have any fiber in it or that isn't organic juice, the kinds I'm talking about, again, it leads to a lot of undue inflammation. You really want to keep your synthetic sugars low. So you can eat as much fruit and vegetables as you want to. That's a different type of sugar. It doesn't cause the type of inflammation, and there's a lot of fiber when you eat fruits and vegetables. That helps tremendously. But another thing that I would recommend, if you can add garlic and or certain types of onions, all types of onions, the onion group and garlic have a compound in them called allicin, Allicin, I believe it's spelled, and that is a potent antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial. So, if you're the type that likes to add that stuff in there, normally you can use that regularly. There's also a spice called turmeric that you can cook with that is extremely anti-inflammatory, antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial. So if you can cook with those things, that's best. You can also take them in pill form. A lot of these are in pill form. Let's move on to the supplements. Turmeric, highly recommend. That's the one with a lot of the data, most of the data that I've seen, that it works against basically like viruses, bacteria, fungi, and it's an anti-inflammatory. And you can take a lot of it. So, turmeric, read the label, but you can just buy that any supplementation store or whatever. Onions, you can get, I don't know if you can get Allicin in actual pill form. I don't believe you actually can. I think that you mostly get that from your diet. But some other things that help fight inflammation are omega-3s. They have quite a bit of data showing that omega-3s help you boost your immune system and fight inflammation. That's a good one. And then things that just straight up boost your immune system are your vitamins, so multivitamin, but particularly vitamins C and D. D is the most important one, and then zinc is another one that helps boost your immune system. And lastly, guys, fighting seasonal depression and just depression in general. Okay, in America, if you are any semblance of objective nowadays, you're looking around and you're depressed. Now, there's some things that actually have some data that show that they help you fight depression, and one of those things is making sure you get outside, meaning sunlight actually helps your depression. It also helps when you're in the sun and sun is actually hitting your skin, UV rays are hitting your skin, that activates vitamin D in your system. So you actually can take a ton of vitamin D, but if you're not going outside, it's going to be very difficult for your body to actually activate that vitamin D. So it's not just about taking vitamin D supplements and eating fruits and vegetables, but also about getting some UV rays. If you've ever talked to somebody who lives in Alaska or at one of the poles where they have very long nights and very short days at certain times of the year, a lot of times they don't have enough sunlight to activate the vitamin D. They get deficiencies, so they have immune system issues and depression issues. So they actually buy UV bulbs, which you can buy if you happen to live in a place that's like that nowadays, where there's not a lot of sunlight or it's too cold. Like here in the Midwest, it's like 0 degrees outside. It would pay to get a UV bulb and literally turn it on when you're sitting down to read or something so you can still get some UV rays and actually activate that vitamin D in your system. And going outside is actually, as it turns out, therapeutic. So it keeps your stress levels down. And zinc actually does have some evidence to show that it is good at fighting depression. And I know that because one of my friends who works at University of Michigan, he's, I think, a neuropharmacologist, wrote his one of his papers on this, and I read the paper. It was an awesome paper, and then I did a little research on it while I was in grad school as well, and it seems to actually help fight depression as well. So that's kind of a twofer. Take zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C, a multivitamin would be great. Get you all of those at once. Try to get outside or get a UV bulb to help activate vitamin D, and you will boost your immune system and you'll keep depression at bay. Now, I don't follow all these rules. I do the best I can, but I mean, it's been tough lately to keep the depression at bay. It's been tough to exercise ever since I got I have had heart issues, which make it very difficult to exercise. That's just now going away, and I got the in my arm in late summer. So, but I try to maintain a healthy body weight. I try to eat healthy as I can, and I have Omicron right now, and I'm telling you, anecdotally, it hasn't been terribly bad. So, regardless, guys, do what you can. You don't have to do all these things, but if you can do all of these things, do some supplementation, a little bit of exercise, drink your water. If you, as best you can, keep your stress levels down. Don't booze it up, which I have definitely not been following that rule recently. I've been using the booze to basically help with the depression, which ain't good. And that's probably why my immune system hasn't been great. But that's neither here nor there. If you can cut that stuff out, illicit drugs, booze, that always helps too. And again, booze is just sugar, just causing, spike. So you want to keep your glycemic index down by staying away from that stuff as best you can, and processed sugars as best you can. I think that we're all going to be okay. We're going to make it through this together. It's a very stressful time. Our government is certainly not helping us lower our depression or our stress levels, so you got to find other ways to do what you can. Keep fighting that good fight. Stick together. We'll take care of each other. We will get through this surge of infections, and data seems to indicate that Omicron is significantly milder than all of the variants that came before it, and it will wash over the entirety of the United States within the next couple of months regardless. There's no stopping it. So let's be proactive, look up some of this stuff for yourself, and do what you can. A lot of this stuff is just common sense. You just have to kind of make the choice to do it. So I love you guys. I hope you're doing okay out there. Keep fighting that good fight. I'll talk to you later.